Working in the maternity services has never felt more challenging. And since the COVID pandemic, things haven't become any easier. Staffing levels have fallen, while the constant pressure to provide safe care and meet government targets remains the same. Community midwives struggle to cover busy clinics under increasing pressure. Student midwives and mentors have less time to meet objectives and outcomes. Clinical investigations and writing statements can cause huge emotional strain. Some staff might be experiencing poor physical or mental health or workplace bullying. Many problems don't even take place at work. A long commute home after a shift with no break. Relationship problems. The usual pressures of raising a family. Growing financial concerns. And worries about paying bills. Or caring for elderly relatives. Any one of these things could leave you feeling overwhelmed and in need of support. In 2017, Professional Midwifery Advocates replaced supervisors to help staff through situations like these.
The main reason that I wanted to become a PMA was so that midwives could feel that health-seeking behaviours was the norm, so that they could go to a PMA knowing that that is a safe space and have the courage to be vulnerable.
My role as a PMA, I feel, is very much about support, and it's about supporting staff. And that's not just midwives, that's support workers as well as doctors as well. And it helps to keep the unit safe.
Working in the midwifery, the maternity care setting, is really quite challenging. You never know what you're going to see or what you're going to face from one day to the next.
Before I became a PMA, I really noticed actually that I was seeking PMA support for a number of reasons, and which helped guide me through actually.
The way that we're providing support, or I'm providing support, is by supporting RCS sessions. We do them on an individual basis, or we do group RCS. When we meet with newly qualified staff, they start talking about their fears and their anxieties and how they're getting on. And it's really good because they realise that the others in the group actually feel the same.
I first sought out PMA, it was around about a year into qualifying, and this was like when COVID was like at an all-time high with cases and people off sick or people shielding.
During lockdown and the pandemic, there was a lot of staff off with COVID, which meant there were fewer staff on the shop floor. When that happened, there was more staff off with stress and burnout for long periods of time, and that ultimately made me become stressed and overwhelmed by going to work.
So I came across PMAs as a bit of an accident because I mainly called in when I was going through a bit of a difficult time to vent to one of the managers, and it happened to be a PMA who picked up.
I first used PMAs during my time dealing with grief and obviously working with families on a day-to-day basis, having to work through trauma and bereavement.
The role of a student is so rewarding, but it can also be really demanding. There's so many challenges to being a student midwife that can lead us to feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, and if we don't get it under control, it can quickly lead to total burnout.
I know I myself have been through really difficult periods where I think having somebody to talk to would have been wonderful.
I felt like I needed someone to speak to. People at home are great because they're your loved ones, but they never really understand what it is to be a midwife, and in that climate as well.
It's just helped me cope a little bit better at work and given me the tools to kind of become more resilient.
They were able to give me a lot of advice and help, and I knew they were always there if I did need to go back.
What I love about accessing the PMAs is that I know that I can talk to them about anything confidentially.
PMAs can provide us the opportunity to talk through our issues in a safe and non-judgmental environment.
I think it's really important for all of us, not just midwives, MCAs, anyone working in the care profession, to be able to have someone to come and offload to. We're there just to help them find the answers that they need to help them cope with the job and help them, you know, to deal with the stresses and the strains of the job.
Initially, I always assumed being a maternity care assistant, it wasn't for my job role, it was purely for a service for the midwives to access. And since being able to speak through everything and actually learning about it a bit more, I'd learned actually it's for anyone to access.
I feel quite strongly about the maternity team as well, not just midwives. And you know, we are all working together all day, every day, 24 hours a day.
The PMA service it's for everybody. They're non-judgmental. They're there to try and help, and it's easily accessible.
It's just a quick phone call or an email over to the PMAs, and then we just have to organise a time to get together.
I'm always happy to take a phone call, even if I'm on a day off. Sometimes I talk to people while I'm walking the dogs. That's okay for me.
It's made me feel inspired to be a PMA, so I'm now doing my PMA course, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I can't wait to eventually be able to give someone the same support that they've given me.
For any of my colleagues that feel like they are struggling with the role, I would say go and see someone, find the PMA that you feel most comfortable with, and they will support you, you know, they will help you. But without that support, you know, the worst thing you can do is not seek support and then start going downhill. So go and get that support.
I would advise anyone to go. It just makes you feel a lot better and makes you feel like you're not alone.
I've really had a lot of really good positive experiences with PMAs and their ability to help support me in my work life.
I would strongly recommend it to anybody who thinks they're in need of support.
I would encourage all student midwives who feel like they just need someone else to talk to access the PMA service.
Knowing that it's confidential, knowing that we can have somebody that we trust.
I would absolutely recommend for anyone to access a PMA, whether you're a newly qualified or you've been qualified for 10, 20 years. It's always nice to have someone that understands what you're going through.
Anyone, no matter who you are, go for it.